Hello, I'm Dara, and welcome to my beef farm. It's the start of another week here on the farm, and it's a bad start to the week weather-wise. Today has just been one of the worst days I've seen come this year so far. It's wind and rain all day. You think you're just finished with a shower, and the sun comes out, and then another one is down, and there's an awful lot of rain falling in these showers. So I'm down here with the cows and the calves. I'm just after moving them. And I've set up a creep feeder here. So I'll just show you there what I'm using as a creep feeder for the calves. So this is my creep feeder, creep gate uh, combination. The idea of the gate is the calves have to go through the gate and turn around and go into the creep feeder. So it also means then that it's training them to creep graze ahead of the cows. So you can see there, I think there's 16 weanlings out there. So that having that gate in encourages the calves to go in and get a pick a meal, and then when they come out, then they'll go off and graze, and they'll come back to their cows in their own time. What I do first of all is I turn the creep feeder around that they can walk straight into it from this side, and that creep gate is towards the ditch. So that's to give them a taste for the meal and to know what's in that green thing there. Otherwise, they wouldn't come over near it. So when they can come in from this side and smell the meal, well, then they'll go on into the creep feeder. And now I've only done that for about 3 days, and I've turned it around the other way now. Really, what I want them is actually to creep ahead of the cows and eat grass more so than meal. The meal is just a kind of a carrot to get them over around here to find the creep gate. So they'll associate the feeder with going out through the gate and going out to fresh grass. And it's just as we're coming up to weaning time now, it's just to try and break the bond between the cows and the calves. Now, not all the calves will come over here and walk out through that gate. I do put a bit of work into it for a couple of days, even a week or more, and I'll put a reel around the calves, and I'll just put in a little bit of footage to show you what I do, how I get the calves out through the creep gate, and even that are too shy to go out. But you kind of have to train some calves, and other calves will get it very quickly there. So this creep feeder combination is, I think it's my idea anyway. I don't know, I haven't seen it online. I should probably patent the idea there, but so just having that gate hanging off the side of the creep feeder, and when I want to move it in, I just open up that bolt and put the plate back to there. That's the plate that keeps it tight from moving back and forth, and that gate then will come back to here, and then I move the creep feeder in with the Euro hitch there, so with the front loader I can move that around to the farm. every day now I'll come down here and I'll try and get a few more out every day. Just the calves are kind of gone away from me there now. There's very few over this side of the paddock. So if I was to stay here for another 10 or 15 minutes, they'd probably be coming grazing their way back this way. So I'd be able to get a few more out. But I'm happy enough with what's out there today. Even having that number of calves out, that will encourage other calves, when they see those ones going out through the gate, they'll follow them on, and there'll be a few more calves out there tomorrow and the day after that. So that's why I'm still block grazing the cows, not just because of the weather, but because I want to have that availability of good grass in front of the calves, that the cows are not getting the run of paddocks and eating all the grass there, that the calves have a good chance of grazing away themselves there and getting to the best grass. And then the cows, then at this time of the year, they don't need good grass. Their milk has gone away from them anyway. The calves will eat the best grass, and then the cows will come on and clean out then the rest of the paddock after them. I'm also giving the cows silage up there in the corner. And just because the weather is so wet, and I'm trying to slow down the rotation as well. We've got good covers back again, but if I wasn't to supplement them now with something, they'd just run around on the rotation too quick on me again. So I just want to slow things down. Every extra day I can get in the paddocks is a bonus now at this time of the year. Monday evening now, I'm back here at the slatted shed. Didn't get a whole lot done today. It's just a horrible day. Couldn't work here. So I was in the workshop making a couple of brackets. I'll show you what I was making and where I'm putting them now in a minute. But I will show you what I did there on Saturday. I stood two little butt pillars. I'll show you them there now. So that little butt pillar there, as I don't know if I said it before, but there was a full wall along there, and I knocked it out because I find it very hard to get the cattle into this pen, especially when they haven't been in here before. So what I want with that pillar there is, as you can see there, there's a slot there, so that's wide enough to take a 6x3 timber, and I'll also be welding on a plate there, so that's going to take 3 timbers 18 inches high, so I can lift them out when I'm getting the cattle in, so they're walking in then on even ground into the shed and they're not jumping the wall. So I have a small bit of rebar welded onto it there with a guide to hold them, so I'm going to put a wall there back in it, a concrete wall. I'm not going to put a block wall back in it. So the opening there is 8 feet. I can't pour this wall now with the rest of the concrete because I have no footing there for the shuttering. I have to wait until that floor is poured first the whole way along there, and then the next day then I can set up the shuttering here when I take it down from the other walls. I'll probably just mix that myself there with the cement mixer. I can set the cement mixer up here on a bag of gravel and just mix it and tip it into it. It won't take that long. A good strong mix. I just, as the way it's working out there, just can't set up that wall, unfortunately. And I'm going to do the same here, but just slightly wider. So this is the opening there, and it's wider, and the reason it's wider is because there's an agitating point there inside in the shed. So I need enough space to be able to reverse the tractor back in there. So there was a short wall there in it, but when I was breaking out the concrete, I knocked it by accident. So that's the joys of it now. I have to put a wall back in it, and I've done the same thing there. To be honest with you, it's a better job because those butt pillars I have are the same width as the pillars. So I can put a full 7-inch wall back in it. So there was only 4-inch block walls in it. So as you can see, I had just had that timber in. They were the timbers that come out of it. It's about a 13-foot opening. So I just had that in there when I was setting up that pillar. So I have those pillars set there with a bit of concrete. So there'll be no mess in there when we get the pour of concrete from the ready mix lorry, trying to set up pillars and trying to stand them. We'll have enough to do. And the same way there, that one is also standing and ready to go. Now it's a nicer day today. At least it's not raining anyway. It's just a nice swift breeze. Yesterday was a horrible day. I was going to go to the ploughing championship this week, but yesterday's weather just pushed it out of my head. for anyone that's not from Ireland, the Ploughing Championships is our 3-day national agricultural event. It's the largest show in the country, and it's usually a very good day out. But if I go, I kind of lose 2 days. I'd lose today, and I'd lose most of tomorrow because I'd be catching up on the work I didn't do today. So I really want to get this shed concrete poured this week and get the shed kind of ready for the winter time. Because the way the weather is, we'll be wanting this sooner rather than later. So I'll just show you now what we're at the moment. So I'm setting up these, we'll call them pillars. I just made a little alteration to them. Those pillars were standing there before, and there was a timber in there going down along to another one down a little bit further, and that's what I used to use for the bunker before. But in the workshop then I welded on this plate onto it there, and that'll bring it out. So the width of the wall is going to be that width. It's about 6 inches. So this one is kind of a fancy bracket. There's also a bracket going that way, and I just made that bracket in the workshop as well. So I'll be putting a stopper there, which will be just 3 timbers just put in there, and that'll just put a stopper end on it. I didn't want to do it in concrete if for any reason you ever needed to get down along there with anything. So just easy, have the timbers to take it out. So I have my line, and I have some light rebar there, so I'm going to put a few pegs along the line, and that's will guide me where I'll put my shutters. And so the wall will come as far as here, just in line with that pillar there that's going into the shed. So the reason that pillar is there is there's going to be an opening in the wall about 8 feet, the same as in the inside pen, and that's to allow cattle to walk in and out of the pen without jumping over walls or jumping over anything. Now, I mightn't have said it, but there was a railing across the middle of that shed. There's 2 pens in this shed, so that's why I have 2 openings into the shed. It's not just one big shed. So that railing, I took it out for removing the slat, so that will have to go back in. So as you can see there, I welded on that plate again, and to bring the wall to the 6 inches. So that's going to be a stopper. So the shutter will come there, and that will stop the concrete. So the concrete will come down along the side of this wall here and in there. And I was saying initially that I'd put a door there, but for the time being, I'm just going to have timbers and slot them down. That's why I'm putting those stoppers in it. Kind of, you have the sleeves there to put the timbers down in it, and then they're short, they're only 8 feet, so they're easy lift them up, and they'll be light, like so. At a later stage, I might put a door in it. We'll see. I'm using a 16mm through bolt, 16mm that way. There's an 18mm hole, 8, so you can put the drill bit straight down through it, so it makes it easier for drilling. You just hammer them in then and tighten them back up again. The concrete in it anyway, it wasn't cleared. I've all those drilled and through bolts put in place, and that's that job done. I didn't video me tightening them down or leveling them up there. It was tedious and it was starting to get on my nerves there, so I turned off the camera. You think the ground is level and the plates are level. When you go drill them and go to level them, then you need to put bits of washers here, there and everywhere to try and straighten them up, but they're fairly good at that. So the next job now is to put pegs along here now to guide me for where the shutters are going, because I'll be taking up the string I have and then I'll be able to put the shutters in against the pegs. But I'll do it and I'll show you then what I mean. Now I'm just offering up the shutters there at the moment, so seeing what way they look, making sure the holes line up and stuff. You can see down there now where I have the little pegs there, and that's just to keep the shutters along the ground straight. So I'm short a small bit to get me there, so I'll have to make a couple of more shutters. As well as that, what I want to do is put some rebar down the middle of that there, drill the concrete and push it into it. I also then have to paint the shutters with mould oil, and I have a bucket of those boys to go in there on the tie bar. There's a lot of preparation work that goes into concrete that you don't see. The pouring concrete is the easy part of it, but there's all the prep work that goes into it. Before that is where the time is used up. So I have a few more shutters there on the loader. I have 4 more, and I won't have enough to get me up to do this last section. So I'll have to get some more plyboard tomorrow and some timber, and what I'll make is maybe 4 short shutters, maybe 4 foot long. The ones I have are 8 foot by 2 foot, so it might be no harm to have a few short ones anyway. I'll need to drill another hole there now as well, put another peg down them. I'm a bit short. So I'm short to get me up to there. 4 foot shutter would get me up there perfect. So I just need to get some timber tomorrow to make a 4 foot shutter for there and one from below. Now it's another day, and it's a lovely day out this morning. It's breezy, but it's nice to see the sun out all the same. So I'm after being to the co-op this morning, and I've got plyboard and 3x2. So it's time to get these shutters made so I can get the wall set up for pouring. That's an 8 foot by 4 foot sheet. I have to cut that into 4 and then have timbers there on the ground. I got your man to cut them there for me so I could get him home the back of the Jeep. So I might set the camera up on time lapse. I'm just clamping down the sheet on my makeshift work table. I'm just measuring out the sheet now so I can cut it into 4 even pieces, 4 foot by 2 foot. I'm just measuring on the saw the distance from the blade to the outside of the saw. I'm screwing down this timber to use it as a guide, and I will run the saw up along by the side of that timber, and that's where I'll make my cut in the sheet of plyboard. And I'm going to do the exact same on the length of the plyboard, screw down this timber to it, and we'll run the saw again down by the side of the timber. So I have 3 pieces cut now, and I'll do the exact same at the other end and cut the 4th piece. The boss man is just in now to see how everything is going. I'm just measuring out what length I need to cut the timbers at. I'm using 3x2. And I'm just clamping it down there, so I'm going to cut it now again with the saw. So these timbers are going to form the frame for the shutter. I'm lining them up there now, and I'll drill a pilot hole with the drill, and then I'll put screws in the plyboard and screw them to the 3x2 timbers. So I'm just turning over the main part of the shutter, and I need to cut 2 more timbers for the ends. So I'm screwing them in with longer screws on both ends, and that will form the full frame then of the shutter. So I need to measure again to cut 2 shorter timbers to screw inside the frame. The second timber will then form the frame for where I put my tie bar and plate through to hold the shutters together. You can see it there now in that little short clip. I'm just putting the final screws in through the plyboard through to the timbers at the back. If only I could work this fast in real life to get these shutters made that quickly. So that's the last one made. I made 4 of them there, so that's just what it is. I have to drill 2 holes, one there and one there, and the same on the far side. So that's so the tie bar can pass through. So ready to go.
Now I'm just back at the shed and I'm spraying mould oil on the shutters, and this is to prevent the shutters sticking to the concrete, so that it'll come off very easily once the concrete is set. In my hand I have a plastic sleeve with a bracket on either end, and that has two functions. One is to allow you to take the tie bar back out again once concrete is set, and two, it helps to hold the width of the shutters. I'm just making sure all the sleeves are cut to the same length, otherwise you'll have uneven shutters. Now I'm just putting on the plates and wing nuts on the opposite side, and that ties the two shutters together to make the formwork for the wall. There's a little bit of work involved in setting it all up, especially when you're on your own like I am here.
So I have all the shutters up and propped, oiled and ready for concrete. So I don't want the video going on too long, and hopefully in next week's video you'll see the concrete in action and the finished product. So I'll leave the video at that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.